How industry CAGR is useful for businesses. Businesses always want to stay ahead of the curve and keep track of industry trends. One way to do this is by calculating a company's compound annual growth rate, CAGR. CAGR can be used by businesses to measure how they are performing in comparison to the rest of their industry. It also allows businesses to anticipate future changes in their industry and make strategic decisions accordingly. In this video, Samir H Bhatt explains what CAGR is and how it can be useful for businesses. What is industry CAGR? Samir H Bhatt describes industry CAGR, or compound annual growth rate, as a metric used to measure the year-over-year growth of an industry. This figure provides a helpful way to compare industries and track their overall growth over time. To calculate industry CAGR, you simply take the current year's sales figures and divide them by the sales figures from the previous year. Then, you multiply that number by 100 to get the percentage change. For example, let's say that the industry had sales of $10 billion in 2020 and sales of $12 billion in 2021. To calculate the industry CAGR for those 2 years, we would divide $12 billion by $10 billion, which gives us a factor of 1.2. We then multiply that by 100 to get 120%. This means that the industry grew by 20% between 2020 and 2021. Industry CAGR can be a useful metric for investors to track, as it can give them a sense of how fast the industry is growing and whether or not it is a good sector to invest in. It is also helpful for businesses to monitor their industry's CAGR, as it can give them insight into how they are performing relative to their competitors. Uses of industry CAGR for businesses. Industry CAGR, or compound annual growth rate, is a metric that can be used for a variety of purposes when it comes to businesses. Investors and analysts often use CAGR to compare the performance of different investments, while managers may use it to evaluate a company's strengths and estimate future values. Let's take a closer look at each of these uses in turn. When comparing investments, CAGR can be useful in determining which one has grown at a faster pace, says Samir H Bhatt. For example, if you're trying to decide between two stocks, you can calculate the CAGR for each one over the past 5 years. The one with the higher CAGR would be the better investment. CAGR can also be used to calculate the growth of a company or business. This can be helpful in determining whether a business is expanding rapidly or slowly. For example, if you want to know how much your company has grown over the past 5 years, you can calculate its CAGR. Finally, managers may use CAGR to evaluate a company's strengths. This metric can help identify areas where a company is doing well and areas where it could improve. For example, if you notice that your company's CAGR is lower than the industry average, this might be an indication that you need to invest more in research and development. Industry CAGR can be a useful metric for businesses, investors, and analysts alike. It can be used to compare investments, calculate growth, and evaluate a company's strengths. When used correctly, CAGR can provide valuable insights into the health of a business. Concluding thoughts. When making long-term plans for your business, you'll want to consider a number of different factors. Industry CAGR is one important metric to look at when trying to determine the future potential of a particular industry. Therefore, Samir H Bhatt recommends all businesses leverage industry CAGR for making informed decisions. Thanks for watching.